Hello everyone, I welcome you all to today's session of Spoken English. And I am Neeraja, and today I'm going to teach you about functional language. So, as soon as I say functional language, you might be thinking, what exactly is functional language? Is it something new which you haven't come across till now? Yes, there are certain, because as soon as we listen to the term functional, we feel that it's something very difficult or it sounds very uh, uncommon, right? So, but don't worry, don't panic at all because functional language is so simple. Because it's when I say what exactly is functional language, you might be wondering, you have known it already during the course of time, but you don't know that this is the term we refer as functional language. Okay, so without any delay, let us understand what exactly is functional language. Functional language is a language that we use to perform various functions such as giving advice. We give advice to someone, right, who is in need of our advice. So giving advice or apologizing means feeling sorry for something. Okay, saying sorry to somebody, so apologizing. So these are the kinds of scenarios, and functional language typically uses fixed expressions for each function. Okay, for there are various functions we are going to discuss in today's session. Okay, so there are various expressions. Prati function ki different expression అంటూ ఉంటుందన్నమాట. And ఆ expressions తో పాటు different responses కూడా ఉంటాయి. Okay, so it will have different response for that particular function. For example, if we consider the sentence, if I were you, or my suggestion is so and so, in giving advice to somebody, or if you are apologizing, it was my fault, right? You say it was my fault when you're apologizing, so that is the expression used to apologize. Or please forgive me. Okay, that is another way of using this different expression for the same function of apologizing. So this is functional language where we use different kinds of expression for different functions. Okay, so before getting into it, let us understand what is a function. Okay, so in functional language, a function is a reason why we communicate. ఒకరితో మనం కమ్యూనికేట్ చేస్తున్నామంటే అది ఒక రీజన్ వల్ల కమ్యూనికేట్ చేస్తాం. అది అడ్వైస్ ఇవ్వడమా, లేదంటే అడ్వైస్ తీసుకోవడమా, లేదంటే పర్మిషన్ తీసుకోవడమా, లేదంటే కంప్లైంట్ చేయడమా, ఏంటి ఆ ఫంక్షన్ అనేసి మనం ఆ కమ్యూనికేషన్ ద్వారా అది ఒక రీజన్ అన్నమాట. దాన్నే ఫంక్షన్ అంటాము. సో ఎవ్రీ టైమ్ వెన్ వి స్పీక్ ఆర్ వెన్ వి రైట్, వి డూ ఫర్ అ పర్పస్ ఆర్ ఫర్ అ ఫంక్షన్. సో ఒక పర్పస్ వల్ల రాస్తాము, ఒక పర్పస్ వల్ల కాన్వర్సేషన్ ఇనిషియేట్ చేస్తాం. సో హియర్ సమ్ మోర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్స్ ఆఫ్ ఫంక్షన్స్ మనం తెలుసుకోవాలంటే, అపాలజైజింగ్, as I discussed earlier, sorry చెప్పడం. Greeting, as we discussed, as soon as we start any conversation, we start it with a proper relevant greeting. So greet చేయడం ఇంపార్టెంట్ అని తెలుసుకున్నాం ప్రీవియస్ సెషన్ లో. సో greeting కూడా ఇట్స్ a kind of functional language. Clarifying, so if you have any doubts, మనకి ఏదైనా సందేహాలు ఉన్నప్పుడు, సంకోచిస్తున్నప్పుడు మనం ఒకరిని అడ్వైస్ అడుగుతాము, దాన్ని క్లారిఫై చేయించుకుంటాం. సో క్లారిఫైయింగ్ ఈస్ ఆల్సో function. Inviting somebody, okarni invite chestam. For example, if it is your birthday, you're going to invite me, right? So inviting is a function. And advising, so if anybody is in need of advice, if you advise, that is a function. Agreeing, when somebody suggests you something, you agree, or sometimes you may even disagree. Agree cheyochu cheyakapochu. So agreeing, disagreeing, refusing, when someone offers you something, Okay, that is a function. And offer చేసినప్పుడు you accept that or you refuse that. It all depends on you, right? If you like it, you will accept it. If you don't like it, you refuse it, right? So accepting, refusing, and expressing obligation, no చెప్పడం, and expressing your preferences. ఏదన్నా అడిగినప్పుడు, ఏదన్నా చూస్ చేసుకున్నప్పుడు నీ ప్రిఫరెన్స్ చెప్పడం, దీస్ ఆర్ లైక్ దిస్, ఇట్స్ అ function. So if ivanni examples of functions, so what are these functions? These are a way of describing language use. Manam use chese language ni describe chestunnave ee functions anni. So this is a part of functional language. So idivaraku, do you think that didn't we use all these things in our conversation? Yes, we have used it, but some of you may not know that all these things, taking advice, giving advice, complaining to someone, and offering help to someone, seeking permission from someone, ఇవన్నీ కూడా it comes under functional language అని మనకి తెలియకపోవచ్చు. But ఇప్పుడు నుంచి మనము ఇలా డిస్క్రైబ్ చేసినప్పుడు దిస్ ఇస్ అ పార్ట్ ఆఫ్ ఫంక్షనల్ లాంగ్వేజ్ అని మనకి ఒక క్లారిటీ వచ్చేయాలన్నమాట. సో we can also describe language grammatically or lexically. For example, ఒక certain function ఉంది అనుకోండి, ఆ certain function కి certain expressions, relevant expressions ఉంటాయి, and దాని certain responses ఉంటాయి అని చెప్పుకున్నాం కదా. సో ఇలా లాంగ్వేజ్ ని డిస్క్రైబ్ చేయడానికి కూడా ఫంక్షనల్ లాంగ్వేజ్ functions use అవుతాయి అన్నమాట. When we describe the language through functions, we emphasize the use of the language. ఆ లాంగ్వేజ్ యొక్క యూజ్ ని మనం ఎంఫసైజ్ చేస్తాము, and its meaning for the people who are in the context where it is used. So ఏ కాంటెక్స్ట్ లో అయినా, ఏ సిచ్యువేషన్ లో అయినా కూడా మనము ఎక్స్ప్లెయిన్ చేస్తున్నప్పుడు, మన రెలవెంట్ కాంటెక్స్ట్ లో మనం మాట్లాడుతున్నప్పుడు ఈ ఫంక్షన్స్ అనేది మీనింగ్, మన మాట్లాడే కమ్యూనికేషన్ లో మీనింగ్ అవతల వ్యక్తికి ఈజీగా చేరవేస్తుంది ఇన్ ద ఫార్మ్ ఆఫ్ expressions. Okay, so this is the work which is done by the functions. Now let us understand what are the different phrases or the expressions we use for each and every function. Okay, let us understand some basic examples of functions in functional language and how to use an expression for that. For first one, if we are giving an advice, okay, or if you are taking a request, so how can I, you are asking permission, can I or may I ask? So can I use here to may I ask a question if you wanted to ask something? May I ask? Or if you're requesting something, how can you request? The expression used is I'd like to request. Okay, I would like to request. So that is the thing. And apologize. Apologize eppudu chestam manamu when we feel sorry for something, when we want to say sorry to the other person, appudu manam apologize chestamu, right? So while apologizing, what are the words we use? It was my fault. It was my fault ante I agree that name tappu chesanu ani. Okay, that is the expression. Or please forgive me. ఓకే, క్షమాపణ కోరుతున్నాం అన్నమాట. సో ప్లీజ్ ఫర్గివ్ మీ, I'm sorry for my mistake. So these are the expressions which we use for apologizing. And when we want to say some bad news, in our life there are situations where we get to hear good news, and sometimes we get to hear bad news. So when we have to give bad news, how to say I'm sorry to say that. Okay, and you can continue the rest of the sentence depending on the scenario. So I'm sorry to say is one of the expressions we use for giving bad news. And I tried my best but, okay, I tried my best but, you can continue the sentence. So it's a form of giving bad news. Okay, usually we get to hear this from doctors. Okay, when doctor was unable to save the patient's life, he said I tried my level best but he couldn't survive. Annappudu he is giving a bad news to a other person. Now, another scenario, another function is agreeing. We agree to somebody's words. Okay, when we are fine with someone's words, we agree with them, right? So what do we say at that point of time? You're right. You're right is the expression. I feel the same way. Okay, you're right. I feel the same way. These are the expressions which we use in order to agree with someone. When we don't want to agree with somebody, we disagree. Agree opposite వచ్చేసి disagree. So, disagreeing, how do you do? I don't really agree. So, this is the sentence we have to use over there. I don't really agree. But what about? Okay, you're saying I don't really agree, but what about some other option? You can place another option. Okay, disagreeing strongly. That was partially disagreeing. Okay, very much strong. If you disagree with something, when somebody says something, how do you say? Absolutely not. Okay, absolutely not. Until you're not at all agreeing with that person's words. And rubbish, I can't accept it. Rubbish, I can't accept it. Until you are showing your disagreement over there. Okay, now next, if you want to offer something to someone, okay, offering elanti sentences use చేస్తారు? Shall I? Okay, shall I, or can I give you a hand? Okay, these are the words. Shall I or can I? And asking for opinions when you want to take somebody's opinion on something. Okay, asking for opinions. How do you say, in your opinion? Okay, and continue the rest. Or, what's your view on? What is your view on so and so topic? So that person says his view or his opinion on that particular topic. And how do you give your opinion? So I feel that, for example, if somebody asks you to tell about vaccination, so how do you start? I feel that taking vaccine is a good thing, right? So I feel that, and continue the rest of the thing. So when you're giving your opinions, you say that, start the sentence with I feel that, or I could be wrong, but you are continuing the rest of the sentence. I could be wrong, but I feel that taking vaccine is important. So as such, so అలా మనం యూజ్ చేయొచ్చు అనమాట ఫంక్షనల్ లాంగ్వేజ్ లో. And the language which we use to express all these functions, in all these functions, whatever language we are using, so that is called as exponent. Okay, so let us understand what are the features of this functional English. Okay, so when we come to the features, the very first thing is this is less structured. Okay, we don't have a particular structure. For example, we have for sentence, it should be always in SVO form, a subject, then continued by a verb, then continued by an object, right? సో సబ్జెక్ట్ వర్బ్ ఆబ్జెక్ట్ ఫామ్ లో ఉండాలి ప్రతి సెంటెన్స్ అని మనకు ఒక స్ట్రక్చర్ ఉంది. అలా కాకుండా ఇక్కడ మనం యూజ్ చేసే సెంటెన్సెస్ పర్టికులర్ స్ట్రక్చర్ ఫాలో అవ్వాల్సిన రూల్ లేదు. సో ఎక్స్ప్రెషన్స్ మైట్ బి డిఫరెంట్. దే మైట్ టేక్ according to scenario, you might choose the right appropriate form of the expression for any kind of function. Okay, and we don't have to be sticklers for two correct grammar. So ikkada grammar is not given high priority when it comes to functional language. When we are speaking about part 1 sessions, so akkada grammar is very important, because he ki she anna, she ki he anna kuda it completely changes the meaning, right? So ala ikkada vachesi functional language lo there are few things which we can unnotice. So that is why among them one thing is grammar. So two correct grammar akkarledu, because we use a kind of informal words, more number of informal words. Okay, so for example, yeah, yo, all these words, yeah is used for yes, yes and danki yeah అని అంటాం. That's an informal way of replying. Okay, and speaking is processed in real time. So real time lo manam మాట్లాడుతూ ఉంటేనే సో ఆ పాయింట్ ఆఫ్ టైం కి అనుగుణంగా మనము ఆ సెంటెన్స్ ని స్ట్రక్చర్ చేసుకుంటాం అన్నమాట. అండ్ హియర్ ఆల్ ద స్పీకింగ్ ప్రాసెస్ డిపెండ్స్ ఆన్ ఇంటోనేషన్. సో స్ట్రెస్ అండ్ ఆల్సో ఎక్కడ స్ట్రెస్ చేస్తున్నాము, ఎక్కడ ఇంటోనేషన్ హై అండ్ లో పిచ్ ఆఫ్ వాయిస్ యూస్ చేస్తున్నాము, అండ్ డిఫరెంట్ ఫేషియల్ ఎక్స్ప్రెషన్ అండ్ our body language as discussed in the previous session of elements for effective communication. So these are all things come under that: facial expression, body language, and speed of delivery. So yes, I am very happy to speak to you all అని చెప్పేసి నేను స్పీడ్ గా మాట్లాడిస్తే కొంతమందికి మీలో అర్థం అవ్వచ్చు, కొంతమందికి అర్థం కాకపోవచ్చు, రైట్? సో స్పీడ్ ఆఫ్ డెలివరీ అంటే రేట్ ఆఫ్ స్పీచ్ కూడా ఇట్ షుడ్ నాట్ బి టూ హై or it should not be too low. Okay, it should be moderate. For example, I am here to teach spoken English and ante the rate of speech is too low. I'm here to teach spoken English and you're here to learn the spoken English and speak easy spoken English classes. So ila annappudu few members from you can understand but not everybody. So ikkada manam cheppunedi endante speed of delivery is very important. Okay, now let's table. So in the first column we have context, in the second column we have exponent. What is an exponent? The language which is used to express a function, any kind of function. It might be agreeing, it might be giving response, or it might be giving an offering a help, or it might be taking a permission, whatever the function is. So whatever the function language we use to express any function is called as an exponent. That is the middle column, and the function is given in the last sentence. For last column. For example, look at the first example: a boy wants to go to the cinema with his friend tonight. So here we have a sentence. So in this context, what is the speech in speech mark? What is the exponent? The boy says to his friend, "Em cheppadu, let's go to the cinema tonight." So speech marks low. Speech marks ante whatever is said by the first person, that words are kept in double quotation marks. So what is he saying? Let's go to a cinema, let us go అని అంటున్నాడు కాబట్టి he is suggesting his friend, or he is making a suggestion about going to a movie. So that is the function. So here the suggestion is a function. For example, look at the second example: a girl meets people for the first time. She wants to get to know them. So Ammai, first time when we meet someone, what do we do? First, let us understand the sentence. The girl says to the group, "Hello, my name is." Ila start chesindi conversation. The girl started conversation by greeting hello, and she said her name first. So what is that? It is introducing yourself. The very first session in functional language, we have learned how to introduce ourselves, right? So the girl here, she is making a function of greeting. Okay, and introducing herself. Now look at next example: a customer doesn't understand what a job assistant has just said. So అర్థం అవ్వకపోతే మనం ఏం చేస్తాము ఎప్పుడైనా? సో మళ్ళీ రిపీట్ చేయమని అడుగుతాం. ఇట్ మైట్ బి అ క్లాస్, ఇట్ మైట్ బి అ వర్క్ ప్లేస్, ఎక్కడున్నా కూడా అర్థం అవ్వకపోతే కుడ్ యు ప్లీజ్ రిపీట్ అని అడుగుతాం, రైట్? సో ఇక్కడ కస్టమర్ ఏమంటున్నాడు? ద కస్టమర్ సేస్ టు ద షాప్ అసిస్టెంట్, "సారీ, వాట్ డు యు మీన్?" అని అడిగినప్పుడు హీఈస్ ఆస్కింగ్ ఫర్ క్లారిఫికేషన్. సో అర్థం అవ్వలేదు కాబట్టి హీఈస్ ఆస్కింగ్ ఫర్ ఫర్దర్ క్లారిఫికేషన్ అండ్ టు రిపీట్ ద సేమ్ థింగ్. ఓకే, నౌ లెట్ us look at next one. A girl writes a letter to a relative thanking her for a birthday present. So ఒక ప్రెజెంట్ ఇచ్చినప్పుడు, ఒక రిలేటివ్ ఒక గిఫ్ట్ ఇచ్చినప్పుడు, what do? We receive it and in response we thank them, right? ఒకరు మనకి గిఫ్ట్ ఇచ్చినప్పుడు we thank them. So ఇక్కడ what is the exponent? What is the speech marks? The girl writes, "Thank you so much." The girl ఏమని రాసింది ఆ లెటర్ లో? "Thank you so much" అని రాసింది తన రిలేటివ్ కి. So what is the function we are doing over there? She is thanking someone for a present. So ఒక present ఇచ్చినందుకు she is saying thank you. Here so function is thanking. Okay, so ఇక్కడ మనం 4 functions గురించి నేర్చుకున్నాం. What is that? Suggestion ఇవ్వడం, next one introduce చేయడం, next one clarification అడగడం, and next one thank చేయడం. Okay, being thankful to someone. Okay, these are the expressions which we have learned 4 functions, and there are 5 different components. మనం ఇందాక exponents గురించి మాట్లాడినప్పుడు 5 exponents ఉన్నాయి. సో లంచ్ ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ ఒక్క ఫంక్షన్ కి డిఫరెంట్ ఎక్స్ప్రెషన్స్ ఉన్నాయని చెప్పుకున్నాం కదా. ఒక ఎగ్జాంపుల్ ఇప్పుడు చూద్దాం. సో 5 డిఫరెంట్ ఎక్స్పోనెంట్స్ గురించి మాట్లాడదాం. ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్, ఇఫ్ యూ వాంట్ టు ఇన్వైట్ సమ్వన్ టు లంచ్, సో లంచ్ కి ఇన్వైట్ చేసినప్పుడు ఎలా ఇన్వైట్ చేస్తారు? How are they different from one another? Let us have a look. First sentence, coming for lunch. So if you are very much familiar with your friend and your friend is along with you, so you are asking your friend, coming for lunch. So that is one way of asking. Okay, that is one way of inviting your friend. And next one is, come for lunch with us. So you and your friend are going for lunch and you are asking your another friend to join you people. So come for lunch with us. Would you like to join us? And kuda anochu. Would you like to come to lunch with us? That is the next one. Would you like to come for lunch with us? And that's the same meaning without changing the meaning. The another way of framing the sentence is, why don't you come for lunch with us? Right? Why don't you come for lunch with us? So annappudu you are offering an invitation. You are inviting your friend for lunch. Now next one, we would be very pleased if you could join us for lunch. The 5th one. So these are the 5 exponents. The 5th one says, we would be very pleased. Ante pleased ante you feel very happy if you join us for lunch. So ikkada manam gamaniste 5 sentences ki 5 different expressions use chesam, but there is only one exponent. Okay, the one function, right? Function enti, inviting your someone for lunch. So dani ఏ విధంగా మీరు మౌల్డ్ చేస్తారు, ఏ విధంగా సెంటెన్స్ ఫ్రేమ్ చేస్తారు అనేది ఇట్స్ ఆల్ ప్యూర్లీ డిపెండెంట్ ఆన్ us. సో దీస్ ఎక్స్పోనెంట్స్ ఇప్పుడు మనం డిస్కస్ చేసుకున్నాం కదా 5 ఎక్స్పోనెంట్స్. సో ఇలా ఎక్స్పోనెంట్స్ ప్రతి దానికి కూడా there might be, for example, for inviting 5 discuss chesam, like that there will be n number of exponents for different functions. So these exponents express different levels of formality. So formality ante different levels untai. For example, formal, while speaking, formal ante very serious and careful talk anamata. So adi taking permission from your boss. At that time you will be very serious and you will be careful in your thoughts. And exponents are used in formal situation. For example, if you are applying for leave, okay, if you are seeking permission for from your higher official, so at that time you go for formal exponents and formal situation అవుతుంది. And there is something like informal exponent in informal situation. Informal situations ante it will be between your friends, with your known ones, with your colleagues. Okay, so in appudu arise ayye situation వచ్చేసి informal situation అంటాము. And sometimes it will be neutral ante it might be between formal and informal, neither formal nor informal, sometimes in between. Okay, that is called as neutral. So it is very much important to use the level of formality. So formality level ఎంత ఉందనేసి చెక్ చేసుకొని మనం ఆ విధంగా ఎక్స్ప్రెషన్ యూజ్ చేయడం, that is according to the situation, is very important. That is what called as appropriacy. Okay, appropriacy ante right time lo right expression manamu use cheyagalagali, danni appropriate ga functional language manam use చేసినట్టుగా అవుతుంది. So as discussed, so there are very many expressions which are used to give a suggestion, to in order to give in order to agree with someone, in order to disagree with someone, and in order to disagree strongly, or if you disagree partially, దానికి different expressions ఉంటాయి, and there might be different number of exponents. Okay, so offering, asking for opinions and giving opinions, making requests to somebody, complaining about someone, giving bad information, and also taking asking for help, and saying thank you చెప్పడం కూడా, and apologizing someone, making request and taking permissions, and also all these scenarios, and expressing your gratitude, feeling thankful, and also when any bad situation arises, what do? You express your sympathy, right? Sympathy towards the person or towards that situation. So this is expressing sympathy and saying goodbye, greeting తో పాటు leave taking అంటాము. So these are all the expressions where which comes under functional language. So if we know what exactly is functional language and what are the exponents which comes under functional language, then you will be clear in your thoughts, and you will understand the appropriacy, that is which expression to be used at what point of time. So dani valla mana day to day life lo situations ఏదొచ్చినా కూడా, ఫర్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ ఒకరికి సారీ చెప్పడమైనా, ఒకరి నుంచి హెల్ప్ అడగడమైనా, ఒకరి నుంచి అడ్వైస్ తీసుకోవడం అన్నా, ఒపీనియన్ షేర్ చేయడానికన్నా, ఈ ఎక్స్ప్రెషన్స్ తో మనం యూస్ చేసుకుని కానీ మనం మాట్లాడితే మన ఫంక్షనల్ లాంగ్వేజ్ లో మన కాన్వర్జేషన్ 100% effective గా ఉంటుంది. So that is what the today's session is about. And thank you all for your time. Have a great day ahead. Bye bye.